Alright, what we're gonna do is go back, way back. Well, kinda. We'll start with Buxom and Mog. Together they had 9 children, 6 girls followed by 3 boys. They named their youngest daughter Maggie. She married Fred. They had 2 sons and 1 daughter. I am the oldest of them. I'm Kendrick.
The middle boy, they named Herbert. Well, his name is Aubrey, but we'll get into that later. He married Deborah, and they had 3 girls. I am the oldest of them. I'm Tawana.
The first girl and oldest of Buxom and Mog's children was named Blossom. She married a man named Eugene. Well, we call him Gene. And they had 9 kids, between them 7 boys and 2 girls. The oldest girl was named Myra, and she married David, and they had 3 kids, 2 boys, and the oldest was a girl, and that's me, Simone.
Of Blossom and Gene's kids, the tallest of the boys was Jerome. He married Juanita, and they had 2 sons, the oldest of which was actually the first grandchild that the 2 would share, and that's me, Will, but they call me Gene. So, y'all catch all that? Anyway, hey cousin!
What up, everyone, and welcome back to another rip-rousing episode of Hey Cousin. I know it's been a few weeks since you heard from us, but guess what? We finished season 1, but we definitely did not want to leave y'all hanging, so we're coming back with a few special episodes along the way to season 2. But we're going to start this one out with a video clip that spoke to quite a few hearts in the writing session this week, and it's from Black Appreciation on Instagram.
Since you fucked up the macaroni and cheese, you're cleaning up all this shit by yourself. Junior, Dejana, nor me, I'm gonna help you clean up. We told you don't put that shit in the macaroni and cheese, but you insist on putting it. So since you want to do things your damn way, we're going to do shit our way. We get ready to go upstairs and go to sleep while you clean up all this shit for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you. But guess what? This shit ain't fair that we couldn't even get a decent thing of macaroni and cheese. We got to wait to go back to Goose for Auntie Karen to make us some damn macaroni and damn cheese. Because you decided to do some bullshit you done seen off the damn internet. Don't experiment on damn Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. Mom, you experiment by your damn self.
With cream cheese before.
Hell, don't try it with us. We don't want that shit. Auntie Karen gave you the damn recipe. But you chose to do shit on your own. Messed our shit up. Since you fucked up.
If you take away nothing else from that, don't experiment on Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. And that is our welcome to the Hey Cousins Thanksgiving special, y'all. We thank y'all for listening with us. And today we are just going to get in the Thanksgiving spirit and talk about some of our special Thanksgiving moments along the way as growing up as family members in the Gibbs, White, Snipe, other last names household. And in the guest host seat for this episode, we have our very special guest team. So Martine is another one of our cousins. She is a part of the first generation of cousins to come in. And we all know that I am of the second generation of cousins. And actually, no, Martine is the first of the second generation of cousins. So she is Buxom and Mog's great grandchild. And I just want to welcome you. We want to welcome you to this episode, Martine. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we're so excited to let some of our viewers get to know who you are and have a laugh with us today. So now I know we have grown up with a lot of Thanksgiving traditions along the way, like with my grandmother being Buxom and Mog's firstborn and the oldest, obviously, she kind of took the helm of like that hub house when it came to holiday season. So I remember coming back down to Walmalaw and going to my grandma's house, and I would be there for a few days earlier because, you know, the whole family would come down and we'd stay. But I remember Thanksgiving Day was literally everybody piling in, everybody bringing specific meals and specific contributions to what Thanksgiving dinner looked and felt like, and just a lot of fun, y'all. Like, I mean, do any of you have any special Thanksgiving memories or concepts that you guys want to, jump into as we start this conversation?
No, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, Judy. One of the things I like to do now, till this day, I like to cook. So if we're friends and I kind of like mess with you, I cook for you at some point. You know what I'm saying? But that comes from our family. Like everything, a lot of my best memories are around food and big meals, lots of laughter. The laughter was like I can still kind of remember like certain things that happened that people actually like can still laugh at this day. So just the cohesiveness as a family, as a group, you can really feel it. It wasn't like some like real surface like I like on Facebook. It was like you felt the love from the time you walked in until the time you left. So uh, definitely those are lasting moments.
I can definitely relate. Of course, my grandmother, that house was the hub. That was the place to be, the place to go. That was where everyone, of course, at the time we were not in Marmalade, we were in New York. So we would pile up in this apartment and you wouldn't even feel cramped. I think the thought process was so different at that time. Family was just that, and you had so much fun. It was, I mean, packed to capacity. But you was just focused on eating the food, having the laughs, as Kendrick said, and just getting together after not being around one another probably for some period of time. So that was really, really good. And also for me specifically, that was that side tradition. But then my mom being Caribbean and, from Jamaica, there was a difference in the two sides. So you would go to the other side, it was a little bit more mild mannered. It was a little bit more, you ate, it wasn't that many people, it was just a time to just reflect and talk about the past and things of that nature. So it was really, really a big difference in itself, as well as the food. Of course, the food was very different. So I'll touch base more so on the food when we start talking about that. But there was a big difference. There was always, as a child, I remember just saying, and unfortunately for my mom, I'm like, can we go to your side first, get that over with, and then go to the other side? Because you want the fun. As a kid, you want the fun, you want the laugh. I have more cousins on the other side. So I recall just being like, let's do your side first, and then can we go and end it with the other side? So I'm pretty sure she probably felt some type of way about that. But yeah, there was a big difference between the two.
So Thanksgiving for us, we always, I'll be honest with y'all, we always had our own food at our house because we used to.
Oh no!
When I say our own food, I mean like certain dishes. When it came to the Gibbs, when we would get with the Gibbs, it just wasn't there. Y'all ain't do devil crab. We had devil crab at our house. You know what I'm saying? Devil crab is kind of like one of those things we know we gonna get on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So because crab meat is kind of like really, it's not rare, but it's kind of like in the low country. When you got some crab meat, you ain't really gonna share with that much people unless they come to your house. They come to our house, they can get some devil crab. But for the most part, at our house, devil crab, that was one of the dishes. We'll talk about that later. That was there. And the seafood salad, those were the two things that I look forward to for Christmas. I mean, for Thanksgiving and Christmas, because those weren't normal dishes that would be served, at family functions. As far as that family functions is, we always used to do potluck. We know Pamela or Aunt Maggie, God rest her soul, they would be doing the red rice. Because y'all know we got to have red rice at all our events.
Every event, funeral, repast, all of that.
Pamela has recently, yes, Pamela recently introduced the sausage rice, because a lot of people like the sausage rice too, whatever. But she introduced that. But for the most part, everybody that could cook certain meals know that was what they're supposed to bring, and no time failed at all. Every last person who made a potato salad, who made the tuna salad. That's what I remember most, because I used to be listening, because everybody can't cook now. Y'all know
Everybody cannot cook. No.
So let's not play and act like everybody can cook. So we wanted to know who cooked what, who brought what. For the most part, the people that couldn't cook, they used to bring the paper dishes and the cakes and stuff like that from the store, and
the check sodas.
And the check sodas, or the hey Judy, Tahitian treat.
Come on now.
I still like those.
2 cases.
Like a father.
Tahitian treat be bussin'. So yeah, that's what I remember on my dad's side, which is the K cousin side. And then on my mom's side, it was a little bit different because, like I said, my grandmama Lena was like a bootlegger. So it was drinking going on. It was music cranked up. It was, it just depends on who was having it. My mom has 9 brothers. So whoever was having it, then if we would go over there, it would be a little bit more crunk because they had alcohol in their system. At the Gibb side, we had to sneak our liquor in. It was no open bottle.
No.
We had very, very, very dry holidays because our family.
Which is so crazy because I'm talking about the Gibb side, but it's the Michael side that made it fun and made it, because if it was just solely to get, I would say the same thing. But the Michael side is where we were like turned up.
Turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I remember about Thanksgiving. That's what I remember the most.
That's cool.
And now one of the things that I definitely want to make sure that we touch on is, as we speak on Thanksgiving, we all understand, because I don't need no crazy emails talking about how Thanksgiving, this, that, the other. We understand that traditionally, Thanksgiving was definitely a place for maize and the spread of syphilis and the acquisition of lands and mass genocide of a whole entire race of people. But for Black people, for some reason, y'all, I think because since we were brought to this country, the American establishment has tried in every way, shape, or form to rip our families apart. Something about Thanksgiving is that one thing that will really jam us all back together and put us in a place. And although we started out with this crazy next level clip, that there's still love there. They had a good laugh about that thing, because I know I had a good laugh about that thing. Because you don't play with certain things. Like Thanksgiving for Black people has become our own kind of holiday. And, even to that point where you speak with some of your, your white homies and homies of other races, they kind of don't really go up for Thanksgiving because it is very dry in a lot of certain situations. Like there's not a lot of community, there's not a lot of laughing. But for us, this is one of the times where we get together that's not a wedding or a funeral, that is just for us to have a good time and laugh and play cards and do all of those things, right? So with that being said, we gonna get into the food. One of the most important parts of Thanksgiving, one of the parts that you cannot mess up, because if you do, you will never be able to redeem yourself. Somebody literally has to die in order for you to get another shot at making something that you shouldn't have made in the first place. And and with that being said, I know that we have like relations that have like main dishes, right? And my grams was the mac and cheese girl, right? And even growing up, I didn't really appreciate her mac and cheese because she has a special ingredient that I'm not going to share because it's now my mac and cheese and I don't need y'all knowing all my stuff. I'll tell the cousins off camera.
We know what's in it.
We know what it is.
All right.
All the sisters probably do it.
They probably do. Well,
I used to be on cheese grater duty, so I was in the room. I used to be grating that cheese. That wax paper. So go ahead, take this out. This block.
She loaned us some wax paper, though.
Exactly.
I mean, but with that, the special ingredient was mustard.
Mustard.
Yeah, and one of the crazy things, y'all, I'm gonna harken back to an episode that we did and we referenced High on the Hog, where they talk about GEECHIE culture. I did not realize how deeply set in the culture mustard in your mac and cheese was. Like when they went to make that traditional mac and cheese, they added a little mustard powder to it, and a whole bunch of things started clicking and making sense, right? And so I now know how to make my Grams mac and cheese, and of course I do a little bit of difference here and there, but I try it myself before I bring it to other people. So we gonna go around talking a little bit about the food, y'all. Like, let's go.
Are these people aware that they can't cook now? Do you make them aware?
No, the thing I'll tell you what makes them aware. At the end of the day, if that pan is still full at the end of the night, don't come back with that.
Hey, you already know what it is. It's like,
listen, and our Gibbs are polite people. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna cuss you out about messing it up, but we gonna grumble and we gonna probably leave early to go get our own at the house and leave yours sitting right there.
We gonna take that plate. Me, Tamara, and Tara gonna look at each other. Look at the person. We gonna look at the person and we gonna take that napkin, because we always got napkin now. You got to get the napkin. We gonna take that napkin, put that napkin over that plate, fold them up.
you gotta slide them right in the side of the trash can so nobody can see. keep them close. You gotta slide them just like that.
Listen, y'all better than me, because I got a little bowl. As I started getting older, I'll crumble up the piece of paper and put it on the plate that don't have nothing on it. So you gonna see I'm throwing your shit out.
Oh my God, that's what we used to do. But the food, for the most part, it's a traditional. I've never been a dressing girl. The turkey, a lot of people are getting into frying the turkey versus baking it. When you fry it, it's a little bit more juicy. When you bake it, if you don't bake it right, it's not gonna taste good. It's gonna be dry as heck. Macaroni and cheese, like Jenny said, the mustard. I don't put mustard in my macaroni and cheese. I like it sometimes, but not most times. Yeah, but I think they added that mustard because it was yellow, like the macaroni and cheese. I don't know where that came from. It's like one of the things that our family is definitely known for. That's what the secret ingredient is. Of course, collard greens. Always make it. The only time the food is normally pretty good, and we always do cold salads, potato salad, tuna salad. Sometimes we'll do a ham. My dad is known for what, y'all? Do y'all know?
Deer meat,
baby.
venison.
Oh yeah.
He brings the deer meat. Uncle Fred does it too. Kendrick's dad, he does it too.
He was doing the pulled pork mostly.
He do the pulled pork.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my dad is known for the deer, the barbecue pulled deer. It is delicious the way he cooks it. And let me tell y'all, his old self to this day still keep his little dead deer leg to the side. That's for Thanksgiving. That's for Christmas. And it take him a whole day to cook, but that's his thing. You know what I'm saying? The only time I can say where we had Thanksgiving, this wasn't with the Gibbs family. This was with friends when we were here in Atlanta. One of my homegirls, she called herself wanting to make a vegan macaroni and cheese. Now, we had regular macaroni and cheese because, look, we weren't dependent on that.
You need a backup. You definitely need a backup.
So long story short, she makes a vegan macaroni and cheese from scratch. Kids are so cute, y'all. So she took it out. We looked at it. We was like, we're going to let a kid taste it. Casey tastes this vegan macaroni and cheese. This is horrible.
Yeah, that sounds like Casey. Casey's not cutting any corners.
Kendrick, she was not playing that day. And my friend Ro, my homegirl Ro, she was like, oh, whatever, just give me that pan of vegan macaroni and cheese. Went right with her when she left.
Oh, wow.
So I'm with mom, who was cussing old girl out for the macaroni and cheese. Don't try nothing new on Thanksgiving. Stick to the script. Just stick to the script. That's all I got.
Well, not only that, kids are very honest regardless of the fact. Like they are very honest. My son is a big rice person. Like he loves rice, and that's just the Caribbean in us as well, where we eat rice. And I remember going somewhere, and I gave him rice, and I think had to be like 2 going on 3. I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed. He spit it out. This is disgusting. He couldn't even say disgusting.
No.
This is disgusting, and everybody heard. It was so embarrassing. But you can't be mad at him because my plate I didn't even touch because it was nasty. But
the kid,
like
he gonna tell. They gonna tell the truth.
They no filter. No filter.
How do you mess up rice?
Rice.
Yeah.
It was
There's no excuse.
White rice or rice and
It was just white rice?
No, like a Spanish style, kind of like a Spanish
Oh
style.
yeah.
Oh, with like pigeon peas in it?
Yeah, like a arroz con gandules or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from the risottos and all them things like that.
Not risottos.
If you don't know how to cook it.
Yeah, you gotta know how to do it. It's like art to certain things, and
Yes.
get real bad real quick.
Yeah.
But like we said, my mom was big on the red rice. I still haven't mastered the red rice yet. I've done one good pot to date, and I'm gonna get it at some point. But she used to make, like Tawana said, we always have our own whole meal at the house, because nothing worse than going to somebody else's house and get like a plate to take back, and you got the rest of the week. So we would have a turkey, we would have pulled pork at the house, we would have dessert. So sweet potato pie, I know how to make that pretty good. So we would do sweet potato pies, maybe a bread pudding, greens, of course, rice, always rice, and yeah, that was it. First moving to Atlanta single, I would make like big meals like that for just me and Tawana. Like with me and Caden, I was in Atlanta, and me and Caden were doing Thanksgiving. I buy a small little turkey, and we would cook all the things, because to me it makes the holidays the holidays.
Yeah, it's reminiscent. Like it just reminds you of that time. It reminds you of family, especially when you're by yourself. Like if ain't nothing worse than being not around your family for the holidays. I know I lived out of the country for a little bit, and I had to do the same thing, Kendrick. I had to like make myself like some of my stuff that I was used to, because if you want to be depressed, like be away from your family and it not really be your choice for Thanksgiving. Like, cause they laugh and they sending you memes and stuff. And they got videos that's on Instagram and Facebook and all of that. And it's like, here I am just by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's something about that community, and it's something about that food. And to your point, Kendrick, I haven't really shared with the public yet, but I am the newly crowned Red Ricerian of the family. Like, I mean, y'all ain't tried it yet, but I'm telling you.
I gotta try it first.
I gotta try it first, because Tamara, hey, look at Junie. Tamara tried that same thing. Oh, I'm the red rice queen now. I'm like, no, you ain't this. It's pretty good. So yeah, we gotta try it, Martina. I'm with you on that.
You gotta get that stamp. Gotta get the OG stamp.
I'm ready for the right rice off. I mean the red rice off, because I got my mom and my pops, and my pops was like, yeah, you did that red rice. And then I will say, before Grams got real sick, she came up and I cooked for her, right? And she said, oh, you know your way for cook now. And that's all I needed. Can't nobody tell me nothing to this day about my cooking ability.
You might have got the OG stamp already then. So I think you might be cool.
Those are hard critics though, because if they say your food is good,
yeah. Because one
good.
thing Blossom will do is sit there and like play around with something on her plate.
Push it all around.
At least she'll play around. Not my grandmother, she letting you know. What you did? What you did with this? What's that?
Something missing.
Wow.
And why that tastes like that?
Oh my God! What's funny is one of the last times before my mom passed, she was sick. I used to come home on the weekends, and I cooked like some. I was still kind of getting good at grits. but I wasn't quite as good as I wanted to be. And it's funny that you say it. She was like, yeah, this is not good. But she told me how to fix it, but she was like, I'm not eating. I'm not eating this. So yeah, but that makes you a better cook too, because again, they're not going to pull any punches when they come to that. It's like, yeah, you representing us out here with this grits, the sandy
Yeah,
grits. No, sir.
that's it.
That grits cook enough. You must have put enough water or something if that grits saying
Yeah.
enough. Let's talk about recipes, y'all. Now we can't give away all our recipes, but
Yes.
grits is really, really good. Do y'all put milk in y'all grits at the end, like just a little bit at the end to give it kind of like more of a creamy taste?
I put like cream in it, but actually
Oh.
I learned that from my ex-wife's grandma. So my mom didn't put cream that I knew of anyway in there.
So
Yeah.
mine
Like,
creamy with I add cheese. So
Oh,
Oh
mine
yeah, yeah.
and creamy.
cheese
I mean,
too.
still dairy. So mine gets whipped and creamy with the cheese,
Mhm.
but it's not grainy. It's not.
It's
I'm
not-
always
Now,
I'm
let me
always
tell you,
cheese grits for sure.
that-
Like
cheese grits. Now, if I'm eating seafood, I don't want no cheese on my grits.
really. Well,
No.
see, I switches up the cheese. Like I'll do like
Yeah,
a
depends on
white
the
cheese with
Oh.
my grits if I'm doing seafood.
Shrimp and
Look,
grits. Yeah.
come on. I should have on my chef apron right now, y'all. For this
Put the hat on.
episode. Yeah,
I know.
y'all need to say yes, chef. At this point,
I got my little golden Ramsay moments myself. So
yes, sir.
we definitely cook.
Kendrick
How
can
did
cook.
you learn how to cook? How did you learn how to cook? Do you feel like living on your own forced you to learn how to cook, or was it your grandma? How did you learn how to cook?
No, just like both my parents can cook actually. My dad didn't cook that much, but he can like cook.
Mhm.
So just kind of watching them. You know what? Working at on a resort, we used to work in like food services and watching those chefs make certain things for different function. Used to taste them. I can cook this stuff. So I used to go home and cook like pastas with sausage and stuff. So I used to always like to kind of like experiment in the kitchen. I actually started off baking, so I was on baking duty. You know, you get to lick the spoon if you mix up the cake and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
It was sweet potato pies, bread pudding. I can't remember how to make bread pudding no more though. That's probably the first thing I learned how to make, but I can't remember.
It's easy.
And-
You'll get back.
Yes, yeah. So it was like baking. I just always liked the context around the food itself. You know, the fun and all that stuff. The kind of making it kind of like was a part of it to me as well.
For me, I grew up with I grew up. I spent all my summers in Guatemala till I had my first job, which was like 16. So I would be down there for like 2.5, almost 3 months. And Grams cooked every Sunday. She cooked for every like event and things like that. So I would grow up early in the morning because I could never really sleep in. And I think that's probably why I can't sleep in now, because she wasn't really going to let you sleep in like that either. You know, you getting up and you're going to help. So I would be in the kitchen, like, you know, just like Kendrick was saying earlier, I was on cheese grating duty. I was licking the cornbread spoon just to make sure that everything was right, even though she knew everything was right. But, you know, I felt involved, but it never was like this how you do this how you do this. But I was always aware of like when things were done and about to go into the oven, I know the consistency this needs to be. So then once I got later in life and got to start asking the recipes, it's like she's giving me the recipe, she's giving me the tools, but I know what it needs to look like too, so I can put those together and make it right. And my mom, she cannot cook, y'all. I'm so sorry. Like I love that woman, but she is not. She is not a cooker. Like she's not a cook, and she'll admit it now. You know what I'm saying? And my grandma used to always pick on her. She used to be like, "Oh, you making a big ziti? You gonna bake ziti us to death? I don't want no more baked ziti," because that's the one thing that she kills. Like she would kill that baked ziti, but everything else, y'all, it's a sad situation. So I had to, like, if I wanted good food, I had to cook it myself. Like even though my pops could cook too, he didn't cook often. So in my day-to-day, it was like, you better make you something if you want to eat.
Martine, my mom never taught us, even though my mom is a Simmons. My dad is the Gibbs side, right? Simmons people, they can cook their ass off. My aunt Easter used to sell dinners on Fridays and on Saturdays, and my mom would help her cook or whatever, but they never taught us how to cook. I didn't really learn how to cook until I My daddy ain't never used to cook. He used to come home, sit down, wash his hand, and my mom would set his plate in front of him. But that's another topic for a different day. Okay.
Oh,
But so my
yes.
dad really didn't cook. He only cooked that deer meat on holidays. But for the most part, my mom was a really, really good cook. And even though she didn't teach us how to cook, I didn't learn how to cook until, like Kendrick said, I was on my own. I wasn't cooking as a teenager. I started cooking like when I first had my first son. And from there, I've gotten really good. Like I could cook really good. Like I can cook, but I ain't gonna be like I'm the best cook. I ain't gonna say that because it's certain things. My collard greens be salty as hell. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or vinegary as hell. I can't get that. But that cornbread, that macaroni and cheese, some steak, some salmon, like certain things, that baked ziti, tell Juanita, come on, let's do a baked ziti. I can cook that too. I can cook rice. I can cook those things, but I learned from, hey, mama, what you put in your salmon croquettes? How you make it taste like this? What kind of oil you use? And, she used to be like, use butter or bacon grease that make everything taste good. So I started just from low basic dishes, and now I'm pretty good, but that's how I learned. It wasn't like put this much, put a pinch of salt, none of that.
I agree. I have to say I had a bunch of cooks in front of me, but no one ever said, this is what you do, this is what you put in here, this is what. So, and of course for me, I'm learning both the traditional Southern dishes along with the Jamaican dishes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure the seasonings are up to par. And I was queen salty when I started cooking. You need to learn that garlic is salty, so you can't put it with this or mix it with this. That just took time, and I think I'm good because my son does not complain because he is a major foodie and he will definitely critique it. So I've gotten better, but it took being on my own, cooking by myself in order to master certain dishes. It's certain on both sides. Like y'all talk about red rice, I won't even try. I tried one time. I can't. I cannot. Either it's too soggy or I just can't get it. I can't get it. So I won't even bother. We have a cousin that's pretty good too. So when you're doing that red rice cook-off, I'm going to call her because she's actually pretty good.
Okay.
But I think, I can't master that. And then on the West Indian side, it would have to be maybe like stew peas, the stew peas I've gotten better, but it still doesn't taste like my mom's or my grandmother's stew peas. So, certain things or whatever, but they never like sat down and like, oh, this is what you have to do. It was more of I need to look and learn. And with my grandmother, she also, with her cornbread, she puts
corn. Did she put corn in it?
Her cornbread, she's probably gonna kill me if I'm saying it, because she puts bananas, like she chops up mashes up the bananas and puts sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it so rich and smooth and fluffy. Yeah. It really adds like, oh my God,
Martine,
I always ask for that every time I would go to her house. So I even had my son, can you get the cornbread? The cornbread. He wants like that's how good it is. But sour cream. Let me tell you, I tried to go home and do that. It was moist inside, half burnt on the top. I'm like, what the hell?
Martine, let me tell you, when Patricia, Nitra their mama, when she said she put, it was me, Tamara, my mom, and Lit was visiting my mom because she had the surgery last Monday. She was over there. Lit is a pretty good cook too, though. But Patricia was like, with the cornbread, because I didn't have any carnation milk for the macaroni and cheese. I'm sorry, I gotta put carnation milk in my macaroni and cheese.
Yes, that's the only way. That's the secret ingredient right there, for real.
I only use carnation milk. Goes in there.
Nah.
And it was like, you can use sour cream. Patricia, so Lit was like, well, if you don't have, she was like, with the cheese and stuff, it'll give you the dairy that you're looking for. And if you have a little bit of broth left from the macaroni and cheese that the noodles cooked in, she said you could use that too. I was like,
pasta water?
Yeah, because it's starchy.
It
You know
starts
what?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
but
if you're making Italian food, but this is black
if you
people
making,
food.
I
Don't
just drop
experiment on Thanksgiving.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
experiment on Thanksgiving.
yeah.
I didn't experiment, period. It was a regular Tuesday.
Right.
Eggs and got me some carnation milk. Okay. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so Patricia is, and you know, you can use sour cream. All the down south people looked at each other like, sour cream. Thank you, but no thanks.
You know what though, because one of the things, it is something to be said about YouTube University too, right? So when I'm going through my things, right, I know what I've tasted and I know what I tried, but then sometimes you'll hear certain things and I don't know, I feel like I have a direct link to the ancestors and they be telling me like, oh yeah, you could try that, or no, stay away from that. And I have
exactly.
tried a little bit of sour cream in mac before, and it was just my personal mac, but it tasted good because what happens is it adds that tang that I'm used to from the mustard, and then it also adds a little element of creaminess too, right? And there's like scientific stuff that is why it also works in the baking process, but you can learn so much by just watching a whole bunch of people do different recipes and then kind of like picking the different things that you might like and seeing from there. Like, and two, you know, harkening back on what I said before, my mom was not a good cook growing up for me, but now like she started watching YouTube videos, learning recipes and stuff like that. And she does a pretty good mac and cheese nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, Ma, this is good. Cause I'm a snob. I'm a mac and cheese snob. Like, if it's not good, I won't eat it.
Yeah.
There's hope.
What is
There is
this?
hope. There is hope for those that can't master something. There is hope.
But I'm gonna tell you, we live in a world today. There's no reason why men should be talking to Kevin Samuels about women not cooking.
Yeah.
There's no reason why women should. You got the packet gravy and regular gravy. You got the
packet.
packet gravy you can mix with chicken broth, sis.
And gravy is so easy to make too.
It's easy, but it's hard. It's not
if
that
you don't
easy.
understand it. Yeah.
You don't know that you got to keep adding. You got to add a little bit of water with that flour. So the ingredients are: some people use bacon grease, some people use butter, but you got to add that flour, and then you got to keep adding water. Sift. Add water.
But see, yeah. See, you see, that sounds easy to you because you know how to do it. But my thing with food. You like whisk. The people like whisk. What the hell is he talking about?
What you talking about?
The thing is,
they have clumps of flour.
Yeah, exactly. Lumpy gravy, nothing worse. But the thing is, to me, to learn that, especially for me, that I can cook myself. If a woman takes that time, I understand the time and effort it takes to make a real good meal. So that's like you telling me, like I love you. You know what I'm saying? If the meal's good, because you put yourself, you have to learn. Yeah, you put the love into it. You can taste the difference. So somebody
say that. I was just about to say that they can't cook, yes, but are they putting effort into cooking? Because
Absolutely.
you know that's not even putting the effort in, and I know a few of them. And it's still not to say they're not bagging people. They not getting people. They getting the men, but they hungry. They hungry.
If you're hungry, it's gonna be a problem at some point.
That's let them come to my house.
If you choose to be hungry in the relationship, then that's on you. That's on you. I mean, and it's not to say that only women should be cooking either. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like an effort should be made with both genders. I don't care who you are. We have two males on this call saying that they cook. Why not?
Yeah, chef it up.
Absolutely.
Everybody should know how to be self-sufficient. You can't sit and depend on grandma, mommy, this one, that one to make you a meal. That's insane.
I believe in 100%.
Yeah.
So we're bringing all our talents to the table, and we're going to present that shit at the highest level possible, and we both win at that point. So it won't be like, oh, I don't like cooking. Well, you like eating, right? Okay, I don't like cleaning. Oh, well, you like a clean house, right? So we're going to have to come together to make shit work for everybody. We all have.
It's the simplest things, though, that is complained about every single day on the internet. A meme is big about cleaning house, and, you know, that doesn't just go for a woman. I feel like if a man lived there, you need to help clean too.
Well, I mean, the house needs to be clean regardless. So, I mean, if we're a partnership, it has to be a true partnership. Like, we do whatever's necessary. We kind of step into, you know,
what's lacking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let me change the statement. Everybody should know how to cook because you got Kroger chicken, you got Publix chicken, you got gravy packets, you got jar
Exactly.
gravy. That's all I'm saying. I
You
mean,
should know how to put a meal together for your family,
Thank
regardless of who
you.
you are.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say
It could be
I also
simple,
think
simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also think it's fun when you have two people come together, regardless of where you're from or whatever. It's actually pretty cool to see the difference in the recipes and the uniqueness of the stuff that you're cooking, because who I'm with now is from Tennessee.
Ooh.
what
She
they
makes
known for? What they known for? Barbecue?
I feel
Hot
like they
chicken.
cook well down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Hot
does
chicken. Hot chicken.
does things so
It's a Nashville.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it tastes good. I'm like, wait, you do that? You put that? You do that? And it's
Right.
it's amazing to see the differences in the recipes and the techniques and things like that. So I think it's a good thing. But like I said, the effort has to be there. And when
I
it
think
comes
that's the biggest
to
thing.
cleaning, I'm big on your clean and my clean is different. I've
Yeah,
always
that's
that.
true.
Because let me tell you something, people will clean their heart out, and I would go in there and be like, you clean what? Oh,
You missed it.
You missed the
Yeah.
spot. Or why
You
that
missed
side of that
it.
toilet ain't clean?
That might could be like a part of
yes.
that could be like a family thing too, because we were a big. I remember every summer when school was out, and the years that Aunt Ann and all the up north aunts used to come down, we was taking down mini blinds, we were cleaning.
Oh my God, dusting.
Cinderella was cleaning.
That's it.
Listen,
Doing everything.
why was I dusting in the year 2000? Oh, and you know my grandma had the piano, the piano, and it had all them pictures on there.
You had to make it to move. You had to take all that shit down and clean it.
Oh my God,
They
yo.
wash and iron sheets. Me
Yes.
like
Saturday night sheet ironing.
a sheet. Like, because they get iron in the dryer.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh well, back then we didn't have no dryer until we used to put our stuff on the damn
On the line.
clothesline.
On the line.
Uh-huh.
clothesline,
Yes, you
everybody.
had to. That shit used to be so stiff, so you had to do something.
It only be stiff when you leave
But
it
I'm
out there
not
too long.
so
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
sheets. And let me tell you, they have a curtain for every seat.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we had Thanksgiving stuff, Christmas stuff. My mom used to change all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I learned about the ironing from the sheets from Sadie. I was like, what are you
Yes.
doing, Sadie?
faithful.
Yes, we didn't.
We like,
Because
what?
Daddy is
Oh,
what Mama
it's gonna
Simmons'
be-
my mama didn't do that. She was like, yeah. I said, but aren't you gonna lay on it and wrinkle it up again? It need to be iron. Okay.
It's like-
Listen.
all I got to say about that.
That's it. Listen, one thing about them gives, period. You know when the end is the end.
Exactly.
You
They
know.
can say it one time it's a feeling, and that's it. You're like, okay, well, we're done here.
I was the question asker. I'm telling you, my daddy had to tell me one time, because I used to be like, that don't make sense. Well, how come certain things you just ain't gonna know God gonna fix you? He had to shut me down because I'm like, why Jesus got blue eyes? Oh, okay. Whatever.
I'm happy they were the way they are, because I must say, I just like being clean. I just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
sometimes it could be a bit obsessive, but I'm
Mhm.
okay. I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. But I actually like the fact that I've learned that from them. And my mom was pretty clean too. Like, she was OCD,
Mhm.
getting behind the corners, and it's cleanup time. Put the
Yeah.
music, and it's time to get
Blasting.
on your knees.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Every Saturday morning.
yeah,
When you
I'm
wake up
proud.
to that Clorox bleach in your nose, you like,
Yeah.
You know it.
Yes,
Listen.
It's clean
you
up
already
time.
know.
If you wake up just before you actually pass out and die in your sleep, that's cleaning day.
that's clean day.
Saying, speaking about the holidays, you had to do that type of clean if people would come into your house. And I never
Yeah.
understood
And that's the thing.
that as a kid, because even if
Yes.
I had, like, if I wanted friends to come over, she'd look around, this house ain't clean. And in my mind, I'm like, why we need mop and glow for them to come? They gonna slide down the hall like, it's clean. No, she wanted it tip top shape. So I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate it now.
Represent.
As a kid, I didn't know. I'm like, what's her problem?
Yes, this is too much and not enough. Okay, I feel you. Another thing for Thanksgiving that we do in our house, and we used to hate it but appreciate it now. We used to have to go around the table and say what we were thankful for. Did y'all
Yeah,
do
they had to do that as well. Yeah, it makes you appreciate, kind of where you came from. You know what your year's been like, and
It's
makes
like a
you appreciate your
reflection.
family.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an end of the year reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And before we used to be like, oh, mom, we gotta do this again. Guess what she did? She started doing it through regular dinners. Oh, y'all want to complain about being thankful? We gonna
No.
do it. We gonna do it almost every time we sit down to eat. What you thankful for today? What you so it all so gratitude and being thankful is one of the highly like frequency things you can do in order to attract things into your life. So at the time when my mama was teaching me something that basically attributes to my spirituality and my spiritual walk, I didn't realize it because I didn't know. But the thankful thing around the table, we do that for Thanksgiving and sometimes at dinner, just so you can always be in a sense of gratitude. Because how many times my daddy, so many of my friends that ain't made it. I'm thankful. I'm in the year. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I'm thankful to be
Yeah.
alive. I'm thankful to be able to sit around my family and talk with my daughters and my grandkids. Like they really had you when you think back over your life and you be like, wow.
Yeah. And that's something
Absolutely.
that
Brilliant.
you don't get access to that until you get older, because even now at the age that I am, I'm 35, but I'm starting to see some of my peers like up out of here. And it's like, woo, like
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
Oh
this is
yeah.
what they be talking about, like the longer you live, you're gonna see some stuff now. And
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you gotta be grateful you made it through it.
Absolutely. And think about it, like even the pandemic itself, we lived through a pandemic. We have so much to say and so much to tell. And I couldn't imagine the amount of stuff our grandparents and parents seen throughout the years and throughout the time. So
Right.
absolutely, you got to be thankful. And some people don't have food to put on the table.
Right.
Absolutely.
They really don't. And it's so unfortunate. Like I used to when I worked in Harlem, New York, I used to also volunteer during the holidays and give back and work in the soup kitchens and things like that. It used to be so sad to see these families coming in and
Mhm.
and this was their norm. This was their norm. This is what they had to do
Hmm.
in order to, celebrate and things like that. So we really have a lot to be thankful for, so
Absolutely.
that's really big, really, really
Yeah, I
big.
felt like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the thankful part. And also, like I said, it activates spiritual gifts when it comes
Yeah.
to being grateful. If you just
Right.
stand in gratitude and appreciation for the things that the Most High allows you to have and all that good stuff, you will be
Yeah.
amazed at what you attract yourself to as far as the
Right.
intentions and the desires of your heart. So
Yeah.
definitely wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. But we only have 10
That's
minutes, but I also wanted to see what does everyone do now? What traditions did you implement for your own kids? I know for me, it changes. It changes because I know my grandmother, she came back down south and, things change and we try to incorporate things, but what are some things that you guys do now?
For me, I actually, ever since things kind of like died down a little bit with my grandparents, my grandfather passed away, and my grams is sick now, so things haven't been the same on the Gibbs side of the holidays. So I actually started going maybe about 4 or 5 years back to my wife's side of the family, and things were so fun over there. They're a drinking family, you know what I'm saying, during Thanksgiving. So we play games, we have fun, we laugh, we sing, we joke, all of that stuff. Like it's such a really fun experience to where it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now every year we go to the beach for Thanksgiving. So everybody gets up, we plan all year long, and then we go to Emerald Isle and celebrate Thanksgiving on the water. Like, and it's the best of everything all at once. It's such a good time.
said it's so different now because everyone's kind of like so spread out. Kendra lives in Charlotte now. Kelvin's still there, but the rest of the family is kind of like all over the place. So I haven't heard of any big dinners, anything happening here recently. I think every now and then some of them will get together and do a little something, but I think at this point it's kind of like time to kind of create your own uh, traditions
I was about to say that.
and
Like
try to
sometimes,
include your family into it. Like travel, take your kids and your parents if you can, and just because, yeah, it's just different.
Yep.
I agree, Kendrick. I think that, okay, for us, it's the same thing, but and with my mom having some health challenges, we've been coming home a whole lot more. So it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Right.
Thanksgiving, it's just like another time that we're all together. And before everybody kind of started doing their own thing and we got all grown and stuff, nobody really had host dinners. And I feel like now we have to champion that cause. Like, I think what we should do, even if it's not this year, next year, we need to go ahead and plan either a Christmas or Thanksgiving meetup where we do the cook-offs. Okay, who's gonna be responsible for the red rice? So everybody who wanna cook red rice, you gotta be in the cook-off, and we're gonna do the cook-off right then and there. Like, I think it's time for us to start creating our own thing because we're in our 40s, 35 on up on this phone. So with that being said and understood, it's like now the torch has been like invisibly passed to us because our grandmamas, our moms are 60 and 70 and 80 years old. Ain't no more. It's time for us. So
Absolutely.
I think we need to be intentional about that because it's not the same. Because a lot of the times we'll go out of town, like our immediate family, my mom, my dad, and my 3 sisters and our kids. We'll spend it in Atlanta, or Tara's in Charlotte now too. So maybe that's a place we could plan to go. Because Joshua Jr.
come on
lives
down.
too. Everybody lives
Yeah,
in
right.
Charlotte.
Absolutely.
In Charlotte. Charlotte's not that far from Atlanta or South Carolina, so that could be something that we do. But I think if we create some type of fun or functionality around it, I think we can get things back on track.
Yeah, I have to agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm along with Junie with the change in the dynamic, the loss of my grandfather. And I just think my grandmother just isn't in the spirit after the loss. So it's up to us to kind of like, come on, let's do this. And we've already started talking to her. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to cook and I'm just going to bring the food to you. And, oh, okay, I'm gonna see. So it's like, I have to take charge and kind of do something with her, in order to get her in the spirit. But I agree. And another thing I was thinking also, when you're in a relationship, you have to divide that time kind of, because it can't just solely be, we spend time with my family and we're not your family. So that becomes tricky in itself.
You gotta pick a holiday.
Or you pick a look, we're gonna just do Christmas over here, and then we're gonna do Thanksgiving with mine, or whatever the dynamic is. That way, the traditions don't get lost and you guys can, start to implement your own traditions. But I agree. But like I said, the gift side, we haven't really done much.
Right.
We tried to when I was up north, we tried to, but we just started. It's like getting the rhythm of it. And then of course, here I go leaving. All right, y'all, I'm going back down.
It's like,
this girl done left some.
And it's like now it's another generation that's in there that don't really even know each other. It's like you said, our kids and
don't know each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
And this is where we learned each other. This is how we learned about
absolutely
our second and third and fourth cousins and stuff, like coming to different events. So I really feel like not only do we now have something our family can play on and just kind of play back, but now it is our responsibility to keep this family unit tight. So that's what I think.
And one of the funniest things about Thanksgiving is all of the shared memories that it seems universally us as Black people have, right? And during this episode, it ran back on my mind that there was a viral hashtag called Thanksgiving with Black Families, that you read these memes, I'm talking about pure hilarity. One of them was it's the Squidward running off into the darkness, right? And he says, me on the way to eat mac and cheese, ham, yams, and sweet potato pie for breakfast. Thanksgiving with Black families. And it's so true, because one thing is for sure, you didn't eat breakfast on Thanksgiving Day because you had to save that appetite for later. If anything, like you might get some water or you might get a piece of fruit, but that's it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, oranges all damn day.
It was just Order. That's it. You not getting any.
Judy, I grabbed my phone. I wanted to talk about some of the memes because I posted one and I got almost 500 likes from posting. It's a picture of the Hillman, the family from Cosby, and the meme says, when your cousin in jail calls on Thanksgiving, everybody lined up to talk to you, because that always happens too. The cousin from jail. Yeah, and then they had one where they had the girl Tiffany with like a hood on, and they're like, "Do not ask me if I got a boyfriend or about my grades at Thanksgiving, because that's the first thing."
Everything.
Where your husband? Where don't ask me that, okay? So outside
Trying to see what's going on.
Oh, you got fat.
You got fat. It was where's your man? Where your husband at? Or where your wife at? Is this your husband or your wife? Soon to be.
Yeah. and to Martine's point, that Greg, you got another plate again. Like, listen, do not go back for seconds if you're not ready to stand in that thing.
Exactly. And do not, let me tell you what else you do not do. Do not get your plate, set it to the side, and then go back and put more food on a plate and put foil on it.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. We don't play that. We don't play that selfish. We don't play that selfish.
We don't mind you getting some food, but don't be trying to take. People ain't even eat yet, and you already trying to put a plate to the side. We know who you is. We watching you.
Greedy. You're greedy behind.
You're
greedy,
lazy behind.
And lazy too.
Lazy and all. Lazy.
That's a hell of a combination. Greedy and lazy. Like, you can't win.
And honestly, you really can't take nothing until like everybody's about to go at the same time, because one of the other memes. Yeah, it's true.
You have people with their Tupperware though.
Come through Tupperwares.
Come on.
It's disrespectful. It's like everybody got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know why we all here. Like, and then all the good stuff is going to be going quick too. You know? And that's why don't nobody eat. Because it's like, if I go back to seconds, then I'm going to get everything that I really want, and I got room for it, and then I can have what I want, because I know it ain't going to be nothing left.
Exactly. That is the purpose for the family meals at home. That's
why we didn't have that. Y'all blew my mind with that. No, we had
we used to have a whole meal. Yeah. Like everything y'all had, we had at home.
I was going back home to John P. Key in silence and gospel music and empty plates and leftovers. That's it. And y'all had devil crab and everything, man.
We had a meal. You had to have a meal. We had a meal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And remember, we also had things from the Caribbean side that, my dad liked. So I never liked regular turkey. So my mother would jerk the turkey. She would inject it, jerk it, and fry it. So we had that. We had rice and peas, not yellow, not red rice. So we have rice and peas. So all of those things we were going back to, and they call it macaroni pie, but of course it's macaroni and cheese. So we was going back to food. Yeah. But it's so funny that you say that, because it's true.
See, that's why we wasn't greedy, because we had food at home. we had food at home.
And we started counting. Let me tell you who's gonna be the first one to go. It used to be Aunt Mabel.
I live on myself. I ain't got time to play with y'all.
I gotta go.
You better edit so Tawana don't get in trouble, please.
No, I'm one of her favorites. So she's gonna be like,
she said she watched faithfully. So, Lord.
My God. Let me see who else packs up a whole lot. Mara and David pack up.
Oh yeah, they pack up now. They pack up.
Mostly Mara gonna pack that plate up now. Take at least one.
She gonna have that Bluetooth earpiece, and she gonna have the plate in the hand on the way out the door. Let's go.
Hey.
And she gonna have Baby P right there too, cause to kind of distract people,
It's true.
So look, it's a baby, it's a baby.
Remember that plate.
Don't see what water because you know I'm looking with my arms crossed. But those there are, you know, you got your faithful people or whatever that pack up. So to round this discussion out, y'all, I think one of the key point takeaways that I have is I love the part about the being thankful. What takeaways y'all would like people to take away from this convo?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is all about being real thankful and appreciating what you have, not just like the food, but the family dynamic around it. You know, being thankful and actually really appreciating and enjoying your family.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of those. The being thankful and just being with your family during that time, connecting. These are people you probably don't see often. So just that moment to share is just the best ever. And of course the food, because we celebrate with food. And of course the food can't miss the food.
We're gonna definitely eat.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everybody. I feel like Thanksgiving is a long-standing tradition in the Black community. And I think because we have so many pertinent memories from those experiences growing up, we have to make sure that for the next generation, our kids and our nieces and nephews and anyone coming behind us, that we really hold the banner of perpetuating that tradition so that we can continue this thing. Like, we get broken apart day and night, left and right, but this brings us together. And I want to leave you all with, don't experiment on Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. Y'all, we thank y'all. We thank you, Cousin Martine, for coming in and kicking it with us. And we're going to call this the Cousins Walk after Thanksgiving dinner. We love y'all.
Yeah,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Let's go.